Good day to you. As the subject of this video is the Australian gold exploration company Astral Resources, that's the reason for my attire, to get in tune with the way people dress in Australia a little bit. Now, Astral Resources is an exploration stock, gold exploration stock, which has three substantial properties near to Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, which happens to be not far away from where my brother, the renowned gold geologist Nigel Morn, lives in Perth. He's been there for many years. And the charts for Astral suggest that it's about to break out into a major upleg, which it's been building up to for many months. And in fact, it's kind of underperformed gold itself for many months this year. But that looks like it's about to get corrected with a major upleg. We'll start by looking at the a map showing the location of Astral Resources properties. And on this map, you can see down at the bottom left of the map, you can see the actual location of the properties, which is, as I say, is very close to Kalgoorlie, not all that far from Perth. And the three main properties, the company's three main properties are Faysville, Mandia, which is the flagship property, and Spargoville. Now, before we look at the charts and see why Astral looks set to do so well, we'll first of all have a quick look. Bear with me a minute. Well, I'll just run off some facts about Astral to you, so bear with me on this because it might get a little bit tedious, but if you're thinking of investing in this company, you want to know these things. So I'll run through some facts with you and then we'll look at the charts. So I got these facts from the company website, their presentation. So, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just getting the information from the company itself. The company has 1.8 million ounces gold resource inventory and 1.1 million ounces in reserve. The three emerging hubs centered on the Mandia flagship project that we saw on the map. Faysville, Mandia and Spargoville. Now, a thing about where these properties are situated, which is close to Kalgoorlie, is that it has excellent infrastructure, affording low cost and low risk for development. And with good relations with the locals, the company has a smooth pathway to permitting. An interesting point about Astral is that its discovery costs are under $20 an ounce, and that will continue to be the case going forward, which is pretty low. The NPA, which is net present value, is 1.4 billion. Once production starts, which is estimated, I think, at the end of 2027, it will be only a 1 year payback. The company is well funded. It has 22 million in the banks and 6 million coming in over the next few months, probably via options. These options have a strike price of 14 cents and they expire in October. The current market cap is $230 million, Australian dollars, right? Now, a very important point that I want to emphasize is that just over the past 12 months, the stock ownership, which was mostly retail in the past, has transformed from largely retail to about 23% of institutional ownership, which is a pretty impressive change. And these institutions obviously are going to be much less inclined to sell than retail investors. Another very, very impressive fact, which I think justifies a continued advance in the stock price, is that their resources have gone from pretty much 0 ounces in about 2020 to 1.4 to 1.8 million ounces in just 5 years. And 95% of the Mandia MRE are convertible into PFS production target, pre-feasibility study target. 95% of it's going to be a very good conversion rate of the gold. The all-in sustaining costs are about $2,100 an ounce, which is well under the current gold price in Australian dollars. Some other fundamental points to make before we look at the charts, important fundamental points, is that there's a diamond drilling program starting in September at Mandia, and drilling across all properties is ongoing. The Mandia property is the only 1 million ounce deposit in the region that belongs to a junior, which is very significant. And there are big discoveries in the district just to the west and so on. As I mentioned before, production is scheduled, all things, if things go ahead well, production is scheduled for December 2027. Now, here's a very important point that I want to make when we look at these charts, which is that since late last October, the gold price has risen from under 2,800 US dollars to its current 3,450 US dollars, right? It's risen about 25% since late last October, and that's about the same in Australian dollars. But during that same period, the Astral share price, it has barely moved at all. So there's obviously it's got a lot of catching up to do relative to gold. Now we will continue to look at the charts for Astral, and you'll see why I think it's a very good buy here. We'll start with a 2-year chart. Now this chart's a little bit out of date because what's happened in the last few weeks is that Big Charts which was bought out by MarketWatch, has for no apparent reason been closed down. So you can't use Big Charts, which I found very useful for looking at Australian shares. You cannot use Big Charts anymore. They shut it down. I don't know why. But anyway, so we're going to use a chart that's a couple of weeks old, but that doesn't matter because the price on Friday closed, I think, at 17.5 cents. Now on this chart, you can see that the stock has basically gone nowhere since late last October. It's been tracking sideways in a giant range. And as you know, during the first few months of this year, gold has surged. It's really shot up. It's gone up about 25% since late last October, whereas Astral has just basically trundled sideways. But that's actually created a very bullish setup, because while Astral has been trading sideways since late last October in this large range that we can see on this chart, bounded by the support and resistance, the 200-day moving average has caught up to the price and is now closely bunched with the price in the 50-day moving average in bullish alignment, which basically creates a springboard for renewed advance. And we can see that towards the bottom of the chart that the volume pattern has remained strongly bullish throughout, with strong volume on rallies dying back on consolidations, which is why the on-balance volume line shown at the bottom of this chart has trended higher even as the price has tracked sideways for many months. This is bullish and implies that there's a new up leg building soon, which is hardly surprising considering what's going on with gold and silver. Now, lastly, we'll take a quick look at the very long-term chart going back. It goes way back to about 1994, and of course the company's changed beyond all recognition during that time. But what this chart does show is that a huge cup and handle base has formed since 2010, 2011. Now, a key point to make here is that because the number of shares in Astral has increased greatly, and it's now, over 1 billion, I think it's 1.4 billion or something, we cannot expect the stock to run up to the sort of prices it made, early in this chart, up at about 170 it got to in 1996. But nevertheless, a huge base pattern has formed since 2011-12 that promises a major advance, and I can quite easily see it if things move forward well, which they look like they're going to. I can quite easily see the stock going up to, say, 75 cents, $1 over the next maybe year or two. So this looks like an excellent time to buy it, as it hasn't yet broken out of this giant base pattern. So to conclude, I think Astral Resources is a very good investment here, and I think it's ready to break out. Hardly surprising given what's been happening in gold, and with the gold price expected to accelerate to the upside as the US dollar drops, I would expect this Astral to break out of this giant base pattern and to accelerate to the upside. So it's rated a very strong buy here. So that's all for now. Goodbye for now.